In the beginning, there were no borders, no flags, no names carved on the earth. There were only rivers that flowed endlessly, mountains that stood in silence, deserts that stretched into infinity, and seas that touched the horizon. Humanity was scattered, tribes living under the sky, bound only by survival, fire, and faith. But slowly, something changed. Men desired more than food, more than shelter. They desired power, order, and permanence. And so the first states were born. Thousands of years ago, on the banks of the Nile, a people rose who believed their pharaohs were not men but gods. The kingdom of Egypt stretched its arms across deserts and oases, carving monuments so vast that they defied time itself. Priests whispered to the people that the pharaoh ruled by divine command, and the people obeyed, believing that their land was the center of creation. Far to the east, where the rivers Tigris and Euphrates met, Mesopotamia became a cradle of power. Kings raised cities of brick, temples touched the heavens, and laws were carved in stone. A king once stood before his people and declared, "I am Hammurabi, and these laws are my gift to you. To the weak I give justice, to the strong I give limits." And the people listened, for with laws came order, and with order came the idea of a state. But states did not remain still. Like storms, they grew and collapsed. The Persian Empire stretched like a vast ocean, swallowing lands and languages, binding them under one crown. Messengers galloped across royal roads carrying the words of kings, and armies thundered across deserts. Yet no empire lasts forever. From the west, Alexander came like lightning, his sword cutting through Persia, his voice echoing across cities, "The world is not enough. Where there are lands, they shall bear my name." And for a moment, it seemed one man could hold the earth in his hand. But when Alexander died, his empire shattered like glass, teaching the world a truth: that states are fragile, bound not just by land, but by the hearts that believe in them. Centuries passed, and Rome rose with iron and discipline. The Senate ruled with laws, the legions marched with unmatched order. Roads stretched from the heart of Rome to the farthest corners of its empire. The people believed Rome was eternal, and they cried out, "All roads lead to Rome." But ambition is a double-edged sword. Greed corroded the Senate, corruption ate the empire from within, and barbarian tribes pressed on its borders. On a cold night, flames devoured the city, and the eternal empire fell, proving that even giants bleed. In the ashes of empires, new states were born. Kingdoms of Europe rose from Rome's ruins, castles stood against endless wars, and monarchs declared that their crowns were gifts of God. A French king once thundered, "I am the state." But in the streets, whispers of rebellion grew. Blood flowed in revolutions, guillotines fell, and the people shouted, "No man is a state. The people are the state." And thus, the idea shifted again, from kings to nations, from thrones to the voice of millions. Across oceans, 13 colonies gathered in secret chambers, their leaders whispering by candlelight. "We hold these truths to be self-evident," one man said, his voice steady despite the danger, "that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights." With ink and courage, the United States was born, a state created not by kings or gods, but by the will of people ready to die for freedom. Yet freedom was never free. Wars carved its survival, and slavery haunted its soul. Even states built on liberty carry shadows. Meanwhile, in South Asia, centuries of kingdoms, sultanates, and empires ended under the boots of colonial masters. Borders were drawn not with the love of people, but with the cold ink of conquerors. Railroads cut across fields, resources flowed out, and resistance grew in silence. In 1947, the world watched as the British Empire carved India and Pakistan apart. On that night, millions became refugees in their own land. A mother clutched her child and cried, "This was my home yesterday, why is it not mine today?" The birth of two states came with rivers of blood, showing the cruel price of freedom. Africa, too, bore wounds from colonial maps. Lines were drawn by men in suits thousands of miles away, slicing through tribes, cultures, and histories. When independence came, flags rose in celebration, but the scars of those artificial borders remained. Civil wars, struggles, and cries for unity echoed across the continent. A young African leader once said to his people, "We are free, but these borders are not ours. They are chains left behind by the colonizer." And still, the people believed in hope, for no chain lasts forever. In Europe, another scar was carved in the 20th century. Berlin stood divided by a wall of stone and wire. Families stood on opposite sides, waving across barriers, whispering names through cracks in the wall. Soldiers guarded the divide, but walls cannot silence dreams. One night, hammers struck concrete, crowds gathered, and the Berlin Wall fell like thunder, reuniting a nation long torn in half. Tears fell with the dust of the wall, proving that even walls cannot outlive the will of people. And so the story continues. States rise, states fall. Some are born in glory, others in pain. Every border is a memory, every nation is a story written in blood, sacrifice, and hope. But history whispers a warning: no state is eternal. Empires thought they would last forever, yet they vanished like smoke. Nations believe they are unbreakable, yet maps keep changing. Today we live in a world of nearly 200 states, each with its flag, anthem, and pride. But what of tomorrow? As the world faces wars, migrations, revolutions, and climate disasters, one question lingers in the shadows: what will the next map look like? Perhaps new states will rise, born from struggles yet unseen. Perhaps old ones will crumble, undone by greed or division. Or perhaps humanity will dream beyond borders, beyond flags, beyond the walls we have built. And in that silence of tomorrow, one truth remains: states are not just lines on maps. They are dreams, fears, sacrifices, and blood. They are the echo of ancestors and the hope of children yet unborn. And as long as humans dream of belonging, the history of states will never end.